Today, we will explore the mechanical chaos of the 1970s, an era during which truck manufacturers disregarded conventional wisdom and embarked on experiments with some of the most peculiar engine designs to ever traverse America's highways. Prepare your tools, as this promises to be an exhilarating journey through the most notable missteps in automotive history. Number 1. The Oldsmobile Diesel Disaster. In the wake of the 1970s oil crisis, GM believed they had discovered the ultimate fix with their Oldsmobile 350 diesel conversion. The concept of transforming a reliable gasoline V8 into a diesel engine appeared to be a stroke of genius at first glance. However, the outcome was nothing short of a mechanical disaster. These engines were plagued by weak head bolts that couldn't withstand the high compression ratios typical of diesel engines, resulting in dramatic head gasket failures. The injection pump timing was so temperamental that even seasoned mechanics found themselves at a loss. To make matters worse, water separation issues turned the oil into a milky sludge, leading to engines that spent more time in the shop than on the road. By 1985, this ill-fated experiment was abandoned, leaving a legacy of dissatisfied customers and class action lawsuits that would follow GM for years. Number 2. The International Harvester E800. International Harvester's V800 epitomizes the disastrous consequences of the bigger is better mindset. This colossal engine, essentially two V400 units fused at the crankshaft, resembled an engineering monster. It was plagued by persistent overheating, especially in the rear cylinders, where coolant flow was as dependable as a broken promise. Oil distribution was equally problematic, with the rear cylinders frequently running perilously low. The intricate design made even basic maintenance a challenge, requiring specialized tools and an abundance of patience. Most mechanics of the time would have preferred to face an irate bear rather than tackle one of these giants, and sourcing parts turned into an unwanted scavenger hunt. Number 3. Caterpillar 3208 V8. Caterpillar's foray into the light-duty diesel market led to the creation of the 3208 engine, a case where innovation backfired spectacularly. The linerless block design, touted for its wear-resistant coating, initially seemed groundbreaking, but soon the cylinder walls began to wear out at an alarming rate. Cold starts were particularly harsh, with many engines developing a notorious death knock, signaling that costly repairs were on the horizon. The fuel injection system also faced its share of troubles, with pumps failing at disappointingly low mileage. This situation tarnished CAT's reputation for producing robust engines, teaching fleet operators that sometimes sticking to traditional designs is wise for a reason. Mechanics dubbed the engine the disposable CAT, as rebuilding became impossible once the cylinder walls deteriorated. Truckers even created a unique pre-start prayer, convinced they could hear their finances dwindling with every piston movement. The factory warranty department reportedly had to expand its team just to manage the influx of 3208 related claims. Number 4. Detroit Diesel E8.2L Fuel Pincher. This engine earned the moniker Fuel Pincher not for its fuel efficiency, but for the way it drained owners' finances. Launched in 1975 as a response to the fuel crisis, this engine ended up causing more headaches than it alleviated. It was notorious for its cylinder heads cracking between valve seats, and the head gaskets seemed to be made from flimsy materials. The injection pump, intended to maximize fuel economy, instead became a source of immense frustration. In cold weather, starting the engine was such a challenge that many drivers resorted to keeping their trucks running around the clock during winter. Any potential fuel savings were quickly overshadowed by exorbitant repair costs and lost productivity. Mechanics dubbed it the Detroit Destroyer for its knack for wrecking both itself and the bottom line. The engine's infamous reputation was so widespread that some truck stops imposed additional fees for parking, citing environmental hazard fees due to the oil stains these engines left behind. Some owners even claimed they could hear their profits vanishing with each cycle of the injection pump. Number 5. Chrysler Industrial 225D. Chrysler's venture into dieselizing their iconic Slant 6 led to the creation of the 225D, an engine that truly should have stayed in the concept phase. While the gasoline version of the Slant 6 enjoyed a near-legendary status for its durability, the diesel variant was a different story altogether. The heightened compression ratios wreaked havoc on the engine block, resulting in cracks and catastrophic failures. The engine's distinctive slanted design, once a hallmark of innovation, caused significant oil return issues that would have amused any oil executive. Precision in injection timing was paramount. Even a slight miscalculation could lead to either a complete lack of power or a catastrophic engine failure. The few units that found their way into trucks were often swapped out within the first year. Mechanics even coined a phrase, "Slant 6 for gas," straight to the scrapyard for diesel. The engine's notorious propensity for self-destruction became so infamous that parts departments would routinely order entire replacement engines at the first hint of trouble. Rumor has it that Chrysler engineers maintained a 225D memorial wall to showcase their most spectacular failures. Number 6. The Perkins 6.354. This engine, designed in Britain, demonstrated that not every European import is synonymous with luxury. This straight-six diesel engine was infamous for its voracious appetite for timing gears, devouring them faster than a teenager demolishing a pizza. Its cooling system seemed to be crafted by someone who believed overheating was merely a suggestion, leading to frequent head gasket failures that prompted savvy operators to keep spare parts on hand. The combination of metric fasteners and British engineering peculiarities had American mechanics swearing in frustration. The engine's notorious oil consumption meant that operators often had to carry extra oil just to finish their routes. Many fleet operators learned the hard way that sticking with domestic engines was the wiser choice. Mechanics affectionately referred to it as the English patient, due to its constant need for repairs. A running joke in the parts department was that Perkins stood for perhaps engine runs, knowing its natural state. Workshop manuals even included English to American translation guides for parts names, and some shops began charging extra for cultural interpretation fees when servicing these engines. Number 7. Cummins VIV 555. The Cummins V5 555 stands as a testament to the fact that even the most esteemed names in diesel engines can produce a flop. This V8 diesel was Cummins' foray into the medium-duty market, but it ended up being more of a burden in the repair shop than a reliable workhorse. The engine was plagued by persistent valve train problems, with rocker arms wearing out at an alarming rate. Its intricate V8 design made servicing a nightmare, often requiring nearly complete disassembly for routine maintenance. Fuel system failures were common, and the engine had a notorious habit of developing costly knocking noises just after the warranty period ended. However, the most alarming issue was the cooling system. The V configuration created hot spots that could easily warp cylinder heads, and the water pump design was so flawed that some mechanics began hoarding them like survivalists stockpiling supplies. Fleet operators soon realized that the 555 inches could just as well represent the number of hours their trucks spent in the shop each month. Number 8. White Road Boss Power Unit. White Motors' venture into creating a proprietary diesel engine led to the infamous Road Boss, which quickly earned a reputation for dominating breakdown lanes. Its unconventional fuel system was so fraught with issues that locating a mechanic willing to tackle it was akin to searching for a needle in a haystack. Oil consumption was measured in gallons per mile instead of the usual miles per gallon, and the cooling system had more hot spots than a sun-soaked sidewalk. Many of these engines were swapped out under warranty for competitors' power plants, sparking jokes about the Road Boss being the ultimate engine for promoting other brands. The design of the injection pump was particularly remarkable for its intricacy, resembling something a mad scientist might concoct after a caffeine overload. Additionally, the engine boasted a peculiar preheating system that either failed completely or worked too effectively, turning the starting process into a reality TV-worthy escapade. Some drivers claimed that they could almost hear their bonus money disappearing with each puff of blue smoke from the exhaust. Number 9. GMC VI 653 Series. GMC's V6 iteration of the Detroit Diesel 53 series initially appeared promising, but reality proved otherwise once it hit the streets. The V6 layout introduced significant balance problems, causing the engine to vibrate uncontrollably, reminiscent of a drenched dog. The fuel injection system was so intricate that even the technicians at Detroit Diesel occasionally found themselves at a loss. Maintaining a cool temperature seemed to be an afterthought, as these engines ran hot enough to cook a steak on the valve cover. The distinctive V6 design limited parts interchangeability with other 53 series engines, resulting in repairs that were both costly and lengthy. The most frustrating aspect was the engine's infamous fuel system issues. The injectors were so finicky about fuel quality that they could fail at the mere sight of contaminated diesel. The vibration was so intense that drivers complained about losing dental fillings, and mechanics even devised a special walking technique dubbed the 53 shuffle to synchronize their movements with the engine's relentless vibrations while working on it. Number 10. Continental D 7160. Continental's venture into the heavy-duty diesel sector resulted in the D7160, an engine that clearly demonstrated that airplane engine manufacturers should probably remain focused on aviation. This colossal machine was plagued by persistent reliability problems, with connecting rod bearings that seemed to last only as long as a mayfly's lifespan. The cooling system appeared to be crafted by someone unfamiliar with the principles of thermodynamics, causing frequent overheating dilemmas. The injection system was so temperamental that it required adjustments more often than a teenager needs to visit the orthodontist. Thankfully, most of these engines were retired prematurely, with many trucks being fitted with more dependable options. What truly set this engine apart was its remarkable talent for merging multiple failure points into one dramatic breakdown. The engineering team seemed to have applied their aircraft design philosophy to diesel engines. Unfortunately, trucks lack the ability to glide to safety when issues arise. Mechanics affectionately dubbed it the Continental Breakfast because working on it consumed their entire morning, day after day. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.